Doing a voice recording over this Adopt Me footage that I have. I tried to record of different games, but for some reason those recordings didn't get recorded, so I didn't have those recordings. And then other recordings didn't have any voice, and for some reason they also got cut. So I'm just gonna use this Adopt Me footage that I had from like days ago, because this is still when they were having the Bison update. I wanted to record. I didn't really want to use this footage, to be honest, because I didn't like it. I felt like it wasn't interesting, but instead I decided, what if I just do a story time that's interesting over this? I'm trying to post every single day, but right now I'm having a lot of issues. I just found out today that my truck is releasing carbon monoxide, and if you don't know what carbon monoxide is basically a poisonous gas, and I had no idea that was getting released into my truck. So yeah, I could have died multiple times now. So I found out today that I found out through another mechanic, because mind you, my truck had already been with a mechanic for 6 weeks getting fixed. And I had a feeling there was something weird with it, because there was a strong smell coming out of it. It smelled like fuel. I didn't think nothing of it, to be honest. You know what I mean? I was like, maybe there's just something leaking or something. Ended up finding out through another mechanic that it's poisonous gas. So yeah, that's amazing. So now I have to fix that, which amazing. More money down the drain when there's no money coming in. I'm trying not to crash out. So let's get into the story time. This story time, like I said, is gonna basically be about how I almost got jumped by someone that was my friend. So this all started when I met this girl, and she was like in the 4th grade. She was a year older than me. Oh my god, my head low-key hurts right now too. So maybe I was breathing in that poisonous gas just now when I drove back home. But yes, I met this girl when she was like in 4th grade. I was in the 3rd grade. So she was a year older than me. I had a friend group trio. They're gonna be named C and J. Jay was the quiet one. She was also a year older than us, but because she got held back, she was basically in the same grade. So I always considered her the same age as us, even if she was a year older, because she was literally in the same grade with us. You know what I mean? And I always forgot that she was older than us by a year. So yeah, Jay was always the quiet one. She always kept to herself. She never got into any drama. Like, I tell you, when our friend group always had drama, because there was about like 6 of us in this friend group, but 3 girls would not be in the story, because honestly they didn't play a part in it. They weren't really involved, so I won't be mentioning them, but they will show up in more stories that are to come. So yeah, Jay, this is gonna be a major part in another story that I will make soon. Jay was quiet. She didn't care about the drama. She was the type of person that you could tell her stuff and she wouldn't tell anybody. Like I said, this is going to be an important part in another story. C was like the pretty one of the friend group. I always felt like she was a pretty one. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was low-key envious of her, but not like in a bad way. I was just like, I was a kid with low self-esteem, okay? So I was envious. I always wanted to be pretty like her. Like, she just always had everybody's attention. But yeah, she was like the pretty one. I wouldn't say she was problematic, but she was a little problematic after finding out some stuff that she did. Literally, she was the one that told me after years later. Like I said, there's so many more stories to come, but I'm just trying to break down my trio for right now. So we were a trio. We were pretty close. We never had really any issues between us 3. Maybe with the other girls in our friend group, but never with us 3 majorly. So another girl shows up into our friend group. She was more friends with just me and C, to be honest. She wasn't really friends or close with Jay, because they never, me and C basically would see her outside of school a lot, because our families would have gatherings like at C's house, so that's where we would see her. I think I met Elle because C and her were already friends, so I was trying to be friends with her. Oh yes, by the way, if you see my character walking around the house, it was because I was gonna do a house tour, But I decided to scratch this idea. So if you see her like taking some long breaks around the house, it's because I was filming a house tour. But yeah, so I think I met L through C. But like I said, our families were kind of getting to know each other. We went to the same church, went to the same elementary school, so blah 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 blah. So I do remember that there's always like this weird vibe between me and L. Like I felt like I had to try really, really hard to be friends with her. And I felt like that because, like I said, her and C were already friends. So I try to be friends with her. Like, force it. Which I should have never done that, to be honest. I do have some regrets. I don't have no regrets, to be honest. If things weren't meant to be, that friendship wasn't meant to be, then it just wasn't meant to be. And that became clear in, like, the next year. So, yeah, we were friends maybe for, like, a year or two. Oh, yes, mind you, I don't know if I already mentioned this. L, we're going to call her L. She was a year older than me and C, but she was the same age as J. There's also another girl, and we're going to give her the letter A. A is the younger sister of C, and she was 2 years younger than us. So she was like kind of like the baby of the group, She wasn't really involved in any drama because, like I said, she was like the baby. She was like 2 years younger than us. So one day, the way that this all started was because we were at a birthday party at Jay's house. It was her little sister's birthday. We're not going to give her sister a name because she's not involved, and I love that little girl. She was like also a little sister to me, and I still care for her. So yeah, she's not involved in this, and I'm not going to involve her name or nothing about her. So we were at that birthday party at Jay's house to celebrate her sister's birthday, and we were in Jay's room chilling, hanging out, The way that this all started was because we decided to just have fun and do like a little singing and dancing. We're gonna basically be in groups and we're gonna like dance and sing. So to give like kind of like a setting of how her room looked, she had a bunk bed, and usually bunk beds now they have like beds or like a desk underneath the bed. Her bed didn't have that. Her bed had like a slide to connect it, and there was like empty space. So if you were to go under the bed, you would basically be sitting on the ground because there was nothing under the bed, right? So L and A, like I said, A is the younger sister of C. L and A, they were chilling on the bed. They were kind of like sitting up, but also kind of like laying down, if you get what I mean. So yeah, they were chilling on the bed. So it was me and C's turn to like sing and dance around for funsies. Me and C decided to do the song by Beyonce, like put your middle fingers up in the air. I thought nothing of it. I didn't think this song was gonna cause any problem because, like I said, it was all fun and games, no ill intentions. Like I said, we were young kids, so yes, we were saying bad words. Yes, we were shooting the middle fingers up. Yes, we were causing issues between our own friend group. Yes, we would fight. We were children. We were literally girls being girls. Okay. So, I was kind of directly in front, like, mind you, they're on top of the bed, okay? I was directly in front of L, and C was directly in front of her little sister, A. And mind you, just to give a little further notice, C and A were like sisters to me. I grew up in in a household full of men. I only have brothers, I have no sisters, so I always wanted, like, I always wanted, like, a sisterhood with someone. And like C and A were like my sisters, C was like my sister close in age, and A was like a little sister to me. I loved these girls with my heart. And yeah, all of this drama did kind of hurt a little bit because I lost my friendship. I am gonna make a video about how I lost my friendship with C and some drama that happened with C. And also I did kind of get into some drama with A. For some reason, she ended up having a problem with me in high school, which it was crazy because I had no idea. I actually found out through a boy. But let's get back into the story. So, we're doing the Beyonce song, and then the part where put your middle fingers up in the air comes on, and we put our middle fingers up in the air. So I wasn't all up in nobody's faces. I was kind of like still close to the wall. C was the one that got closer to the bed. Like I said, important notice. C was the one that got close to the bed where they were chilling on. Now, like I said, I was directly in front of L, so it was kind of funny that L took offense to it because, like I said, C was directly in front of her little sister. So in a way, she was kind of showing the middle finger to her sister, but she wasn't doing it with ill intentions because, like, that's her sister. We were just doing what the song was saying. But L, she got mad at C and she started saying, like, F you, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, she just started saying all these cussing words to C. Once we realized that L was, like, basically mad because she was cussing at C, we stopped the music and we just all stopped. And we were like, what the heck? Like, what's wrong? Like, why are you mad? She's like, no, because, she's shooting the middle finger up at me. Like, C is shooting the middle finger up at me. And, like, if y'all gonna be doing that, then, like, F you, like, blah, blah, blah. All of this, okay? And I was just like, what the heck? Like, we were just playing around. It was just a song. We decided to do this game, like, all of us, it was just like a game. But Ella took it too far. Like I said, I always felt a weird vibe, but, I never held it and never thought anything weird of her. I always felt like she was my friend too. Like, I was close friends with Elle. So, yeah, it was just weird. So, me and C decided to just sit underneath the bed after L basically blew up on C. And it was just crazy because L is literally sitting right next to C's little sister A, and she's basically talking all this stuff about this girl's sister. Like, there are literally sisters. How are you going to be chilling with this girl's little sister while you talk about her older sister? Like, you get what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I would never have done that because, like, what? But yeah, so me and C get underneath the bunk bed. Like I said, you basically have to sit on the ground because there was nothing under the bunk bed. We're chilling underneath the bed. We're sitting on the ground and we're just basically listening to Elle just is going off. Like, this girl is not shutting up her mouth. She just is going off and off and off. Like, and when I tell you, she was cussing. Like, she was hella cussing. So, it gets to a point, I saw that C was, like, kind of sad, and I kind of started getting mad because I was like, this was just all fun and games, and this girl is taking it too far. She's literally calling her all these words. She's literally saying F you, calling her the B word, and all this stuff. So she was taking it too far, and that's kind of when I stood in, because I'm the type of person where I'm loyal to you. Whether I'm in a relationship with you, you're my friend, you're my family, I'm a loyal person. And I like to defend people when they can't defend themselves. Like, I just can't stand people trying to treat someone wrong. And I felt like it was in the wrong at this time. Yes, maybe C shouldn't have gotten up that close to the bed, but at the end of the day, this was just all fun and games, and I feel like it shouldn't have popped off the way that she should. Do I think maybe both of them were in the wrong? Yes, but at the end of the day, we were children and we weren't really thinking clear. We were just acting with our emotions. We were acting impulsive, and we had foul mouths, and that showed. So, because I was really close to C, she was like a sister to me. I wasn't too close with L yet. Like, I always felt like I always had a force. So, I did choose to defend C. So, I was mad because, like, at the end of the day, L was still going off. She was not shutting up. So, I was like, you know what? This is doing too much. She's doing too much. I'm about to stop this right now. And the thing about me is that I will stand up, bruh. I do not care who you are. I will stand up for myself, and I will stand up for the people I love, and, for my people. Like, I will stand up. So I get mad, and, I start going off on Elle. And I'm not saying this in front of her face. I'm saying this underneath the bed. Because, if you want to be talking crap on top of the bed, then I'm going to just do the same thing you're doing. So I start going off on Elle, and I'm just like, cussing at this girl basically because she did the exact same thing as C. Like, C is literally sitting right next to me with her head down. She's looking sad, like looking, she's just looking upset. So I start going off on Elle, and I'm saying, I'm also cussing too. I'm also saying blah blah blah, like we were all just playing around, like, just saying that. So then after a while, Jay actually comes back in the room. She wasn't in the room when this happens, but somehow she walks in the room when all the drama's happening. Now, this is Jay's room, mind you. Now, I was saying something to Jay, like, hey, like, can you ask Elle to get out the room because she's going too far? But Jay, like I said, she's not the type of person to speak up for herself. She's not the type of person to speak up for others. She's just like this introverted, shy person that does not really care, doesn't get involved in anything. She's not really problematic, from what I knew at that time. So Jay didn't say anything. She just was on her phone or whatever, and she just minded her business. But Elle heard me, and so she walked out the room and she left. And I was like, okay. So then we went back to chilling. I was trying to basically make C feel better about the situation, all that. So maybe a few minutes later passed, and I need to go do something. I think I had to go ask my mom something. So I come out the room, and I walk into the living room, and guess who's in the living room? Ellis. Elle is sitting in the living room with her older sister, and her older sister is about 8 years older than us because she's about the same age as my oldest brother. So I don't really care, to be honest. I didn't care that she was telling her sister because at the end of the day, what is your sister going to do to us? We're literally children. This is children drama. She can't do nothing. She's literally an adult, basically. She's 18. You get what I mean? What can she do to us? We're 10 years old. You get what I mean? So I didn't care, but Elle was trying to prove a point, though. When I stepped into the living room, she started talking louder, and her and her sister were, directly looking at me walk past the living room. I did not care. Like I said, I didn't care that she started raising her voice to make sure that I heard her telling her sister about what happened in the room. I didn't care, so I go outside, and then I come back inside the house, and I think she was still sitting there, to be honest, because I think I saw them still in there. So I go back into the room, and I tell J, C, and A, I'm like, I specifically told more C and A because they were in the room when everything was happening. And, Jay did hear. But I told him, I was like, hey, it was literally in the living room. She's literally telling her sister all this, and she's purposely, talking loud so that she knows that, she's telling her sister. She's letting us know that she's telling her sister, basically. So maybe after a few minutes after I went back into the room and told C and everybody else in the room, we get a knock at the door. Because I think we had locked the door just to lock it, to be honest, so that we could hang around and dance in the room and get, you know what I mean? Just for a little extra privacy. If I run out of time, I guess I'm gonna have to do a part 2. But yeah, so we heard a knock at the door, and C mom pops up, and she's basically telling C, hey, get your things because we're about to leave the party, because Elle just went and told her mom that y'all were saying bad words and y'all were saying all this bad stuff about her. So the person I am, I defended C again. I told her mom what basically happened, and I told her, hey, no, what happened was this and that. She just got upset because of something that C did, but it was not really a big deal. So then C's mom, she kind of let her stay. She let them stay longer, C and A, because they were sisters. So then when we left the party, when basically the party was done, I found out through my mom. I was kind of scared to ask my mom because, like I said, we were dumb young children, okay? We weren't supposed to be cussing. I don't know about them, but I wasn't allowed to cuss. I'm still not allowed to cuss, even though I'm a grown behind. Now, I'm not that grown, but I'm an adult, basically. But I'm still not even allowed to cuss till this day, which is crazy. But yeah, I was kind of scared to ask my mom because I was scared that I was about to get my butt whooped or I was about to get grounded. Something was about to happen. So I asked my mom, though. I'm like, hey, mom, what happened? What did Elle say? What happened? Because C mom, she was mad at us and she was about to take C and A home. And my mom was like, oh, Elle basically went and told her mom, but she basically spoke in a very loud voice all in front of us, basically. And we could all hear what she was saying because she was saying, she was speaking really loudly. She basically said that y'all were basically saying bad words and that y'all were being mean to her and y'all were saying bad things about her. And when I tell you, I thought I was going to get in trouble, but I didn't get in trouble because my mom also had beef with her mom, so my mom really didn't care. She didn't say anything about me, which was crazy. The only person that said something to me was my dad, but that was just because my dad wanted to still be friends and be on good terms with these people, which... when I tell you, there are so many other stories that are connected to this family, and to, these two particular fans and other people as well. Like I said, I would do more story times, okay? But yeah, that's basically what she told me, that she said all this. My mom did not care. I thought I was done for the moment that Elle told basically all our moms that we were saying bad words. But my mom didn't care, like I said. So after that party, I never saw Elle ever again. Like, never did, because I think there was barely any, like, gatherings, to be honest. But I did find out, I think when the school year started, so now I was, like, in 6th grade, because I think this party was, like, over the summer, I think. So now it's, like, we're back in school. Me, C, and J, we're 6th graders now, and Elle is now a 7th grader. We went to different middle schools, though. Me, C, and J were in the same middle school. Elle was in a different middle school. So I still didn't see Elle. But I did have to see Elle when I had to go home. Because basically the way it worked was that we would get on our school bus, right? We'd have to go to this place called the Hub. And at the Hub, you would switch to the bus that would take you home. I don't know if other states do that or other countries do that, from wherever you're watching this. But yeah, that's how it worked in my state and in my town. We had to get on 2 different buses. So, I did have to see Elle basically, even though we didn't go to the same middle school. I did have to see Elle because we lived in the same neighborhood, and we basically had to get on the same bus that took us home. So yeah, I did see her again, but nothing really happened. So at this point in 6th grade, I did lose my friendship with C. I will make another video going more in depth about this C person, but it will not all fit. So me and C, basically, we also were having some issues. We were also having some drama, some problems, okay? But basically, so I did find out before me and C started having issues, I did find out that C and L basically reconciled. So they became friends again because there was a family gathering. Not a family gathering. There was like a gathering, and we didn't go to it. I don't know why. I don't think we were invited, or something came up that we didn't go. So at this gathering that, I wasn't at, C and L became friends again. Now, mind you, the way this all started was because L popped off on C, and now they're friends again. So not only did I lose my friendship with L because I defended C, now I lost my friendship with C as well. So now I lost 2 friends. But yeah, it was crazy because it's just annoying. So C became a messenger. So all of a sudden when me and C started having problems, we stopped being friends basically, and then C was still talk to me, but the thing she was telling me was that L was talking about me, and she would tell me what L was saying. Now there is another girl, so yes, we are adding another character into the story. We are going to give her the letter K because her name did start with a K. Now I had some problems with K, but I didn't really have like really big issues with her. I just disliked her because her mama didn't like my mama, and I'm all like, if you don't like my mama, then I don't like you. You get what I mean? Like, when you're gonna defend your mama, no matter what, even if your mama get on your nerves sometimes, but you still gonna defend your mama and have her back. Yeah, I was that type of daughter. So yeah, I didn't really talk to Kay. I didn't really care about her too much either. So there was nothing. But L and K went to the same middle school, and L and K were about the same age. So yeah. So which is funny because L and K didn't even get along either, but somehow they started getting along, which, like I said, the irony of a lot of this stuff. So L and K apparently were talking about me on the bus, and apparently L was telling C this. And so C would then go and tell me, and because I'm gonna defend myself against somebody that's talking about me, I told C all this stuff about L. Now, did I think she was going to go tell L what I was saying? No, I didn't think so, because in some way deep down, even though me and C were having beef at this point, I still loved this girl. She was still like my sister to me. I didn't want the friendship to end, but like I said, I'll have to make another story of how that happened. But C was basically going and telling L this. And so now I had L and K talking bad about me. And C was also probably talking bad about me too, because like I said, we weren't on good terms. We were literally beefing. So now I'm over here beefing with 3 girls. Literally. So then at some point, C decides to tell me that, yeah, so basically C becomes a messenger, which was not a good thing, because like I said, I was beefing with this girl, so she could have been twisting my words, or she could have been instigating stuff. But one day C basically tells me, she's like, hey, Elle wants to meet up with you at the hub. Like I said, the hub is where we had to switch buses. And the hub was kind of known where people would basically get into fights, you know, do confrontations and all this stuff. This was where stuff would happen. So, yeah, C came to me and she's like, hey, Elle wants to confront you. Elle and K want to confront you. I don't know if she told me K was going to be there too, but she basically told me that but Elle wanted to confront me. So I was like, okay, bet. You want to talk about me and now you want to like meet up with me, then all right, I'll meet you, you know. I literally felt like this was, you know, deep down I knew like this was about to be a fight, to be honest. I was like, I'm about to get into a fight with this girl. But I thought this was going to be like a one-on-one or like a 1 versus 2, because I had a feeling Kay was going to be with her, because like I said, these 2 girls were basically talking bad about me because they went to the same middle school, and I did find out later that they were basically talking about me to the whole entire bus. So I had a best friend. I did make a best friend even though I was losing friends. You know, it was 6th grade. I'm trying to make new friendships. I'm meeting new people, blah, blah, blah. I had a best friend. Me and her were like really, really close. And I was telling her everything that was happening. Because, you know, when you have a best friend, you're going to tell her all the tea, right? So I told her. And my best friend was like, all right, bet. If she want to pull up on, if she want to comfort you, then shoot, I'm going to go with you too. And I was like, okay, girl, like we going to go and see these girls then. You know what I mean? Like, we're about to meet these bees. So I was like, okay. So then me and like, yeah. So then we get to the hub, and then we start walking around, and A, L, and K come to us. But these 2 girls, they didn't come alone though. They showed up with like 5, 6 other girls. So this was like a whole group of girls, and I didn't even know who these girls were. I only recognized one girl, which, let me tell you, I will be singing a story about her, because my older brother, my second brother, gets into a relationship with this girl, which I didn't think was right, because like this girl was literally over here being friends with a girl that was trying to jump me. You get what I mean? So basically, it was supposed to be like 2 of these girls, but they pulled up with like 5 other girls. So this was basically gonna be a whole jumping situation. I was literally gonna get jumped in a way. And so she tells me, hey, you over here saying blah, 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 blah about me. And I'm like, well, C's telling me. And I told her, yeah, I said all that because C told me that you were saying all this about me. Like I say, we're basically telling each other that you're saying this and this about me because C was the messenger. You know, C was the one telling us this. So she's like, so then I'm just waiting for something to happen, right? And she never does anything. Like, she's just standing right next to Kay with her other little girl friends, like, chilling behind her. Like, I was like, I did not care. Like, girl, if we're gonna fight, we're gonna go down with a fight. I don't even care if I get beat up. Like, I'm gonna fight because I'm not gonna let you disrespect me. I'm not gonna let you talk bad about me. And then, like, you know, get away with that. So she never does anything. You get what I mean? Which was crazy because you the one telling C that you wanted to confront me. So why you not doing nothing? So then this lady that's working at the hub, you know, she's kind of makes sure everybody gets on their bus and blah, blah, blah. She sees us because, you know, it's just me and my friend and this other group of, like, this big group of girls. So she sees us, and I think other people were also getting around because they started kind of seeing that something was about to happen. So this lady comes, she starts yelling at us, and she's like, hey, get on the bus, y'all get on your bus. So I'm like, okay, since you're not about to do nothing, I'm about to get on the bus. Mind you, we get on the same home bus. So, like, did I think that these girls were gonna, like, start beating me up on the bus? Probably. But nothing happens. I get on the bus, and they also get on the bus after me, and they don't do nothing. They go and sit in their seat, and I sit in my seat. Right when I sit in my seat, though, there's, like, a boy sitting across from me, right? And, he tells me, this is how I found out they were talking about me. he literally tells me, because he wasn't even around us when this situation was happening in the hub, like when I confronted these girls. He tells me, he was, oh, you were about to get jumped, like you were about to get beat. And I'm like, boy, I wasn't about to get beat or jumped at all, because they didn't do nothing. They didn't touch me. Like, the hell? So where's the jump? So yeah, and it was also because of him that I also found out. That's, he was the main reason I found out that they were talking about me to the whole bus, because other girls, like literally like 2 other girls that I have no idea who they were, got involved and had some issue with me. Mind you, I am not the type of person that's just going to talk about somebody just to talk about somebody. I'm only going to talk about you if you talking bad about me or you have something to say about me. But I had no clue who these girls were. So if I don't have no clue who you are, if you're not saying something about me, then why would I say something about you? Especially when I don't even know you. Like, what am I gonna say about you? I have no idea who you are. But yeah. But I think I can't really go too much into the other story of how I almost got jumped again by these girls. Or maybe I can. Actually, yes, I can. I have like 4 minutes. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the second time I almost got jumped. So basically, one time we get off the bus, a few days later after this incident, I didn't think these L and K were planning anything. So one day, we get off the bus, right? We're walking home. This girl, we're gonna call her F. F was basically double my size. So if we got into a fight, she probably would have beat my behind up. So all of a sudden, F comes running. Like, this is a new person. I don't even know this girl like that either. F comes running behind me, and she's like trying to make a friendly conversation. Like, I'm a friendly person. Like, if you talk to me, I'm gonna talk to you. Like, I'm cool. Like, whatever. I'm talkative, so I'm gonna just chit chat with you. So I didn't think nothing of it. F just, she's like chit chatting. She's trying to act nice. She's being cool and stuff. L and K are like a few feet away from us, like just watching us, because I think I had to turn my back to look at them, and they were just like staring at us. So, we're just chit chatting. My mom pulls up on the street, and I didn't know that yet. So, L and K, they saw my mom, and they start screaming like, "No, don't do it! Stop! Like, don't do it!" Like, they're just telling her to stop. And I wasn't really paying attention because I was just talking to this girl. I thought she was cool, like she was being nice to me. And at the back of my head, I was kind of like panicking because I had got detention that day. So I had to tell my mom that I was going to have to stay the next day for detention. And I was scared that my mom was going to beat me up. So I wasn't really thinking about nothing else. So all of a sudden, my mom pulls up right next to me. And I get in the car. And my mom, the first thing she tells me, she's like, "Hey, like, you were about to get your behind jumped." And I'm like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" And she's like, the moment that L and K saw the car and I made eye contact with them, they started screaming to that girl that was next to you, F. They start screaming at her to telling her, like, stop, like, hey, don't do it, like, don't do it. Like, they start freaking out and they're trying to scream, like, to tell her, like, to not do something. And I was like, no, like, they wouldn't. And my mom's like, I'm telling you, like, you were about to get jumped. Like, my mom was having that mom intuition. So then, like, the way she came at perfect time, like, I don't know, maybe it was the universe saving me from getting my behind jumped. So she came at the perfect time, and that's kind of when I started piecing it together. And I'm like, wow, like, these girls really were so scared of me that they decided that they were not only going to confront me the first time with a whole bunch of other girls, but they were also going to use somebody double my size to basically jump me. Like, these girls were literally trying to jump me twice. Like, that is insane. But I don't have anything else to say, I think. Oh yeah, so after that incident, they never did anything ever again. They did keep talking bad about me, and I kept talking bad about them, but they never ever said anything again. Honestly, I don't even think I ever saw F ever again, to be honest. I don't think she ever rode the bus ever again. I think that was just like a one-time thing. I don't know. But yeah, this is where I'm going to end the video soon. I do have more stories to say. I have one more story to say where F is involved, because yeah, I'm gonna leave that for another video. I have more stories about L, I have more stories about C, and I have more stories about other people. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear more story about this drama. Like I said, if anyone, before anybody judges us, we were children at that time. Yes, we were probably all in the wrong, but honestly we were just children. We were acting with our emotions. None of us were gonna sit there and be like, hey, let's work this out. We were children. We were just ready to start cussing each other out. We were ready to just fight. We were ready to just everything, okay? So I just want to give that fair warning that we were children before anybody thinks anything. We were problematic, it was just us beefing with each other, okay? And if anybody has a problem with me like not getting along with Kay because her mama didn't like my mama, I kind of agree with that too. I think that was an immature thing. I shouldn't have treated Kay, well, honestly, we kind of both treated each other some type of way. But yeah, I think that me and Kay, we could have been friends if we didn't let our mama's issues get in the way of that. But it is what it is. If a friendship doesn't work out, then it doesn't. But yes, I am going to end the video. If you want to hear another part to a story, then let me know. But please like, subscribe, and comment.